Hi, have you been struggling to get through a power yoga class and would really like if somebody just broke down those poses for you individually? This is your class. I'm Dr. Kirsten Ferguson with Vitality Doc, and we're going to work on Sun A. So you're going to come to the top of your mat, bring your big toes to touch. Legs are going to come straight up. You're going to build this from the ground up. So you're going to ground all four corners of your feet into the mat. Imagine your feet had table legs. Ground them into the mat. And then building up from there, you're going to take your inner shins, push them back so that the legs are coming around in this direction. Okay? Not actually visually, but more internally. And then tighten up the legs. Tighten up the hips. Tuck the hips under just a bit, so that you don't have that big scoop in your back. And then extend your arms up over your head. Palms face each other. Fingers really tight. So you want your fingers, I call these spark fingers, or I don't remember what my mother calls them in Pilates. You're gonna reach towards the ceiling and then pull your shoulder blades back down towards your spine so that you have a neck again. This is mountain pose, and this is a pose we come back to very frequently as we run through a vinyasa. From here, you can come all the way over, hinging at the hips. So you're gonna bend over, hinging at your hips. Now you'll see a lot of people do different things with their arms. You can bring your arms straight down. You can bring your arms out to the side. Whatever you do, just be intentional, okay? So you're gonna come all the way down to your mat. Now this is forward fold. Now not everyone can forward fold and touch all the way to the floor, and that's okay. So for all intents and purposes, because I don't have a block today, we're gonna use a foam roller. And I'm gonna put a foam roller in front of me here. You could use 2 blocks, that would be fine as well. So I'm gonna come all the way down and I'm gonna place my hands on my block and just round my back out a little. You can keep a slight bend in your knees. And then the next move is halfway lift. So I'm gonna bring my arms straight, getting my back nice and flat here. Nice and flat. Now, if this is still not reachable with the block or anything under here, you could always place a chair in front of you. So you could put your hands on the chair, and then you could straighten your arms on the chair, okay? And then we're gonna forward fold again. And then we're going to step back to chaturanga. Now I'll show you stepping back to chaturanga, and then I'll show you a modification. So if I'm going to step back to chaturanga, I'm going to place my hands on the mat, ground all 4 corners of my hands down into the mat, and I'm going to step back into a high plank position. Now you could hold right here, or if you need to modify, drop your knees to the mat, okay? If I'm from here, I'm going to go down into a low plank. So I still have my toes spiked into the mat here, even though my knees are on the floor. And I'm gonna bring my elbows next to my side body. And then I'm gonna put the tops of my feet on the mat. And I'm gonna straighten my arms and pull my chest through. Keeping your back from arching. Squeeze the glutes. This will protect your low back if you have any low back issues. Good. And then I'm going to push myself back up into a downward facing dog. Now, I can have legs bent or straight, depending on what my flexibility is. And I want to push my chest back towards my thighs. And then I'm going to step up to the top of the mat. I'm going to halfway lift again. So if this is where you use your block, I'm going to halfway lift, fold, and then I'm going to come all the way up to mountain pose again. And that is your Sun A. Now, if you were going to modify the second part, the chaturanga, after we are here and we halfway lift, let's say I don't really have the capability of getting up and down, and you've got some knee problems or some hip problems. Maybe you're just tired today, okay? But you still didn't want to skip your yoga practice. So a modification to this could be forward fold, halfway lift, and then when everyone else steps back to high plank, you're gonna high plank, low plank. So I'm getting my shoulder blades back towards my spine, bringing my elbows to my sides, and then upward facing dog. I want you to push out, bringing your head forward, and then downward facing dog, arms out. Stepping to the top of the mat, forward fold, halfway lift, and coming up to mountain. Okay, so let's run through both of those together. So mountain, fold, my block, halfway lift, step back to high plank. You can bring your knees down to the mat, low plank, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step to the top of your mat, halfway lift, forward fold, mountain. Okay, modified version, mountain, forward fold, halfway lift. Everyone else steps back to high plank, low plank, up dog, down dog. Stepping to the top of the mat. Everyone else comes into forward fold, halfway lift, mountain. And that's all there is to it. Being sure to pull that core in as you're suspending above the mat, not being all loosey-goosey, and you're still going to get the benefits of doing that Sun A. Stay tuned and we'll go through Sun B.